If you're familiar with Global Road Warrior or AtoZ World Travel, you may be aware of the one of the most popular features there is all the food related content. So you can learn about countries and you can explore the cuisine and the recipes. And World Trade Press, which is the vendor that has the World Food, they realized that this is the most popular feature, so they built it out. So it is that popular feature on steroids, and it is amazing. So you're going to see regional cuisine from 174 countries. There's over 800 food culture articles, over 6,500 recipes, 500 ingredient articles, 6 food glossaries, more than 13,000 high quality images, which I didn't have lunch, so I'm already hungry. And then there's a personal recipe book. So why would you use AtoZ World Food over, say, just doing a Google search and finding recipes for different from different cultures, from different countries? World Trade Press is an authoritative source, so they write all sorts of different encyclopedias and reference materials. So you're getting really authoritative information all in one place, and there's no ads. I don't know how many of you go and look for recipes and you have to click on every picture as a new thing with new ads popping up, distracting you. So this is just a really nice place to dive in and get acquainted with all this information. So the access will go live on your website on March 19th. You just use your 29335 barcode. So it's just making sure that your barcode is 14 digits with 29335 at the beginning of it. And then here I'm logged in. This is the landing page you get to. So it is mobile friendly. So it is optimized for usage on tablets, which is great because, if you don't have a laptop, but you've got an iPad or even a phone, it's great for being in the kitchen and having this. And you'll see some features as I show you how handy it is to be in the kitchen with this on a tablet, if that's your format of choice. So we are here on the landing page. Each day is a different featured country, and then this is just a rotating slide of different recipes, different links to articles. You have the search button at the top. So this will take you to just your basic search where you can enter in a term, or an advanced search, which will search. You can search for recipes, or you want the culture information or ingredients. You can break down by region, break down by country, by course if you're just looking for stuff on main courses. You can also search and click on these to find the recipes that are gluten-free or dairy-free, whichever you like. My recipes I will get into afterwards, but let's just jump in over here. So there's a few different gateways, as I like to say. There are your countries. You can just search by country. And then there's some food categories down below here. So you have ingredients and reference, and I'll hit those. This recipes and food culture is just going to take you to another map, basically a page with just the map and then the country on here. So we will start by going into a country. So the one I've chosen today to explore for you is Peru. So Peru is, when you get into a country, you will see an overview. So just a little blurb about the national cuisine. And you'll have appetizers, soups. These are just the classic dishes with a little bit of an intro, some really nice pictures on the side here. And so this is just a really short summary. There are many more recipes. So how you want to use this is by exploring the side navigation. So each country has the same navigation, has the same topic. So it's a really, you'll get used to the navigation of this. So you land on national cuisine when you pick the country. Then if you look in daily meals, this gives you a breakdown of breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, dessert. It's really neat if you're, especially if you're looking to travel to that country, you can get a sense of what the locals do. And dining etiquette, this is a really neat one. You have your table etiquette. So if you're in Peru, you want to eat your pizza with a fork and knife because that's what it says up here. As well, the social factors of dining in that culture or the country. This is what would annoy me is arriving up to an hour late for a meal or event is not unusual and not considered rude. Well, that's good to know. So punctuality is optional in Peru. So there's all that information there. The special occasion foods is really neat. So you have a breakdown of all the different. Each country will have either a lot or just a few, but some information. So, and here is where you can really get a lot of information that you wouldn't necessarily get from just like doing a Google search for a particular recipe. So, for instance, in Peru, they serve cuy, which is guinea pigs. So they, and as you can read, so as you can see, there's the words are underlined. So they're all hyperlinked to either the recipes or the information about that particular ingredient. So here I've clicked on the cuy and I have a recipe for cuy, which yes, is guinea pigs. It's a particular it's a delicacy actually. So guinea pigs, I click on guinea pig and here I am, I'm at the ingredient. So then here it gives me pictures and all the information about guinea pigs and that they're raised in Peru and how they're served. And so I found this fascinating and I went to my friends and who I known went to Peru, and I said, "Do you know that they serve cuy, this guinea pig, in Peru?" And they're like, "Yep, they saw people basically raising them in their houses for the purpose, and they serve them like this on a stick, and they just eat it like that." So that was really interesting that they serve that, and they said, yeah, they didn't try it, but the recipe does say they're very low in cholesterol. So that's a bonus, I guess. Okay, so that's the special occasion foods. And then it goes over some holidays and some really fun and interesting facts. I'm a big fan of Did You Knows. I love as a librarian, love storing all sorts of information in my head that I can break out at like dinner parties and for people. So this is you have a great information about the food and its relation to the particular culture and country that you've chosen. So different information about like street foods and the desserts and things like this. So really, really neat to get more information. Moving along from your food culture into the beverages, similar veins, each country has a relationship with tea, mixed drinks, beer, and liqueurs. So here we go into tea culture. Again, if I were in the United Kingdom profile, this page is huge. So, but it's all very interesting to read and see what's going on in these different countries. So, like, the interesting fact: cocoa tea is available, but it's used from the same plant that derives cocaine. So that's really interesting. It's more dinner party talk, I guess. Depending on the type of dinner parties you're going to, I guess you're talking about cocaine. Anyway, mixed drinks, we have really cool. You can get, here we go. We get recipes, which is really, really neat. Like lots of different, if you're having a dinner party and you want to have some unique cocktails, these are great places to find something new. And then what's really neat is you can just add it to your favorite recipes. So this is the add to my recipes feature that I wanted to jump in here and show you. So when you click on add to my recipes, it's asking you to sign in to your account. Now, this is not your library account. This is just a personal account that you're going to create that will store all this when you log in. Not when you log in with your library barcode, because like I said, the authentication here is only checking to see that you've got that 29335 prefix. So if you didn't have an account, you would just put in your name, even your first name is just fine, your email address, and you create a password. You can obviously unclick whether you want to receive, and they spelled receive wrong. It's more notifications. So here, I'll just log in to the account that I created, and it'll add that drink, as you can see right here, to my collection. So we'll jump back into this a little later, but we'll head back to Peru. So here's your mixed drinks. So that's all very neat. Your national beers show the beers that are made in Peru. It gives a really nice description, really nice picture, and lots of information. Same thing with national liqueurs. Just a ton of really well written, really clear information on national liqueurs. So moving along, so that's your beverages. Down to recipes. This is where you really get to go in and see things. So if you want a ceviche recipe, click on that, and it's got, here we have the listing. It has all the really fun things. So a little bit of an overview, tells you the prep time, the cook time. It gives you your ingredients. If you wanted to use this as a shopping list, what's really interactive is you can check off the ingredients that you have. Maybe take this shopping with you. When you're in the kitchen, and it's like I said, if you're on your laptop or your tablet, what you can do if you're, this is obviously a very simple recipe, but if there was something a little more complex, you can also like highlight the fact, okay, I've done this step, right? And go back to it. And then it gives you some really nice notes. So that's really neat. And then we'll go into main courses. And here there's just tons of different recipes. So tamales, we can go in, and here it's showing me this visualization of the time. The other one didn't have that, but this one does. And we can, oh, I like this. And see, it shows that yes, it's gluten-free, and it has different you can use lard instead of butter, different notes, which is really handy. And then we can just add that to my recipes. Oh, I might have already added it to my recipes. So anyway, we'll go into my recipes up here, and you can show a list view or a grid view, and you can sort by country. I don't have too many things in here, but I can sort by country, the different colors of the heading. So orange headings are your country, from you've taken it from the country, whereas this is the green is either a sauce or a drink or a different, not an actual meal. So that's really neat. So let's go back to Peru. So again, you've got all these beautiful pictures. It's a little slow. Desserts, lots of different desserts. And if you click on the picture, you get a nice bigger view of what it looks like. Now, what's really great is what are some practical applications of the country view, country profiles essentially. This is great for using with schools and for students, promoting to students. India, Tunisia, Peru, Ukraine, a certain extent, the Spanish and Aztec kind of social studies parts of the curriculum where they deal with those countries. This is a great resource for students. It's really easy to use and to navigate, and it has a ton of information. So there's that. If you wanted to promote this in your cookbook section, if you had a small cookbook section, you can just throw up some marketing materials, which I will send out when, in following this little webinar, I'm going to send out some information including some promotional materials. So put that up in your nonfiction section, and it'll just open the doors. If you may not have a cookbook on this particular region, but we have this great database that has a ton available. If you want to create a cookbook club, there's a lot of times where cookbook clubs, all the cookbooks are taken out. There's not enough. Use this instead. You have a database club. Explore this resource. And maybe if you have an armchair travelers program and you're highlighting different countries, or people have come in to do, volunteers giving presentations on countries that they visited, this is a great one to kind of dip your toe in. Putting in even in your travel, a promotion in your travel section as well. So it's really, really useful in that case. So ingredients, I'll go on. So this is your second. So your gateways here, that main landing page, like I said, you've got your countries, your ingredients, or your reference. They're also conveniently at the top. So the ingredients, you can search by category. Let's go into dairy. And kefir is down here. I was going to show you. So nice pictures. And then you can click on one and you get a ton of information. The origins, description, variety of the nutrients, how it's prepared. Again, my favorite part is always the did you knows. And then what I found really interesting, I didn't know, was kefir has a shelf life of 30 days without refrigeration. So I need to tell my husband this because he always thinks the kefir has gone bad, but it's not. It just smells that way. So, and it tells about the fermentation process. So that swollen bottle is not necessarily a bad thing. So that's really interesting. And there's tons, like I said, the ingredient list, there's over 500 different ingredients, and all by basic, different categories. Your offal category here, some things you would never think about. The exotic is really interesting because then this is where I discovered about the guinea pigs, but then there's lots of information about other different things. Then we will go, so that's ingredients in a very, very brief view. When you click on the ingredient, there at the bottom is, this is maybe not the best example because there's not many recipes with alligator in it, but here we go. We have, I think this guess is an accompaniment. They say can be cooked with vegetables or made with. So that maybe not the best example, but if we clicked on that guinea pig example, there's the recipes where Kui is featured. Okay. So, and then the last section that you can use as a gateway is the reference. And the reference is really, really neat. This is where you can get a ton of information. So if you're a beer lover and you want to become a connoisseur, or you just want to impress your friends, you can read through all these different terms. Or if you go and you're like, oh, I don't know what IBUs stand for. So, okay, I can look that up and be like, oh, that's interesting. It's the bitter quality of the beer. Okay, that makes sense. So different, and especially with wines, which there is a section for wine down here. Same thing. It's you can learn all about the different blends. So if you didn't know where Cab Franc comes from, or the different lingo, this really is a really nice place. And then there's also some graphic information, like the most consumption of wine for liters is Portugal. That's great to know. There's a historical timeline. If people are doing reports or just really history buffs and they want to learn different things. So it goes through from the beginning of time to the modern area. I'm just scrolling really fast. And it's updated with 2017 information. So there we go, all the way back to the top. And if you really want to impress your friends or pull some information for, I don't know, memes or promotional materials, there's different quotes as well. So there's quotes specific to wine, or you can go into food quotes and open up this side navigation and pick a topic, and then they have the different people and what they've quoted. Conversions are good. There's a conversion calculator. So if you're in here and you don't know, the difference between the imperial or the metric, you can find that. Temperature, Fahrenheit to Celsius. Food inventions is a great one for learning if you want to learn about the different food inventions, if someone's doing a report or just wanting to learn more about crop rotation, for instance, or fermentation. They link into a larger article. One of the other ones I want to show you is sauces. So here you have all the different sauces, and they're all categorized. So if you watch a lot of Food Network, I suppose, here's your emulsified sauces, so you can get an idea of, I didn't like the way they're grouped is really, really interesting. And you can go, okay, carbonara sauce. There, I get the overview, I get the recipe, and this is all great. So lots of different steps, and I can add that to my recipes. And it just added it. So there are some times where it'll ask you to log in after a certain period of time, even if you're in the site. I found that it asked me to log in. So just adds it to my recipes. So that's neat. And then again, our sauce, we don't have to go back to that main navigation. All the side navigation works, and you have the different, it's from the different countries, the different sauces. So that's really neat if you're looking for sauces. And then lastly is the historical timelines. So let's read all about famine. There's all these historical timelines. So a lot of educational information in here that you can use to explore. So that is a really, really super brief introduction to World Food, AtoZ World Food. I don't want to keep you guys too long, so 5 minutes for questions. If anybody had any questions, I think I know how to unmute people. I don't know how to unmute people. So if anybody had any questions, you can feel free to ask them now or throw them in the chat. So again, it's just a really, really great resource that the more you use it, the more excited you'll get about it and be able to promote that to your patrons. So were there any questions? Did anyone have anything?